Morning, everyone. Yesterday we had already begun with the chapter, The Last Lesson. The chapter tells you about the importance of your mother tongue, right? And the chapter begins with little Franz. Little Franz, who was very scared to go to school that day. Why? Because M. Hamel, his French teacher, had asked him to prepare his lessons on participles, and Franz was not prepared with his lesson. So he was very scared to go to school that day. But after mustering up some courage, after gathering some courage, he finally decides to go to school. On his way to school, he sees a lot of crowd has gathered towards the bulletin board, and people are discussing over something. But Franz didn't even cared about going to the bulletin board and reading the news, because for the last many years only the news about the lost battles or the soldiers who got martyred, right? News of such kinds have come from that bulletin board. Any happy news they haven't received from that bulletin board in the past many years. So Franz, instead of going to the bulletin board and reading the updates, he decides to move on. He decides to carry on his path towards the school. Now, as soon as he reaches the school, he observes something very strange. What was strange was the complete silence. There was a complete silence in the school. Normally in usual days, there was a lot of hustle bustle in the corridor when the school began. When the school began, there was a lot of hustle bustle, there was a lot of crowd, there was a lot of shouting voices. But today, there was a complete silence, a silence of the graveyard. Now, as soon as Franz reaches the door of his classroom, he expected that M. Hamel would scold him for coming late, right? But as soon as M. Hamel sees Franz, he asks him calmly to come and take his seat. When Franz takes his seat, he observes something unusual in the classroom as well. The back benches of the classroom, which used to remain empty throughout the year, were today all occupied. The villagers, right, who never used to come to school for the French classes, today all of those villagers, all of other students who never used to be present in the class, today they have occupied their classes and the class was full, right? Everyone was there in attendance, and M. Hamel was wearing the attire, right, which he used to only wear during the report card day or if any other important occasion was there. So M. Hamel was also dressed up in the attire. Now, when M. Hamel asked Franz to get up and tell his about and tell his tell about participles to the entire class, Franz, he looks down and he gets scared that he'll get a beating from M. Hamel, because he was very much scared with the iron rod of M. Hamel. But M. Hamel, instead of scolding Franz, right, he makes them realize that it's not your problem that you're not learning your lessons, right? Even it was my fault that I haven't taught you this language with that interest, right? I was unable to create interest in you people about your mother tongue. And today, when this is the last lesson, all I feel is regret. Yes, class, today is the last lesson of your French language. Reason: Alsace and Lorraine, the two districts of France, have been occupied by Prussia. Prussia was a kingdom was a kingdom led by your German people, right? So what they have done, they have occupied to expand their boundary. They were in a constant war. France and Germany, Prussia were in a constant war. And why this? What was the reason behind this war? Annexation. They wanted to expand their boundaries. So France has lost this war, and two of its districts, Alsace and Lorraine, they had come under the German Empire, under the Prussian Empire. And it was declared that now in the districts of Alsace and Lorraine, only German will be taught as a language. And French language will be removed away from all the schools, and all the French teachers were asked to leave Alsace and Lorraine. So this was the reason why M. Hamel was dressed up in his attire. Why? Because this is the last lesson. Now, all of a sudden, these people who have never taken French classes seriously, right? They all of a sudden they started, no, they all started realizing the importance of their language, right? They started valuing their language, but now they were too late, right? Because your language is a hold on your identity. Your language is a hold on your identity, on a hold on your freedom. When you have your language, when you have a strong command of your language, right, you still have that feeling of nation among you. You still have that feeling of oneness among you. But these people sitting here now were regretting that why they haven't paid attention to their French classes. Even M. Hamel was regretting that he could have taught language in a better way. But now it's too late, right? So this was the story, and it's about regression, how French language is important, and what were their reactions, and what M. Hamel delivered in his last lesson. Now, class, you will go through this chapter once thoroughly. I have asked you in your previous lecture as well, right? Go through the chapter thoroughly. Then you will mark down the hard words. You will make 3 columns. When you make your copy, make 3 columns, hard words, meanings with pronunciation. Select 5 words, synonyms, antonyms, and then 5 sentences each. Then you will write down the summary, and then you will begin with the question answers. Now, after the question answers, the chapter will end with a storyboard. You will create a colorful storyboard for the chapter, the last lesson. Now, your today's topic is My Mother at 66. Now, My Mother at 66 is a poem written by Kamla Das, right? And this poem, right, this poem is about the childhood fear which we all have. The childhood fear of losing our parents, right? That is what the story is about. Now, Kamla Das was on a visit to her native place. She had come to visit her parents from Chennai, right? And while after spending quality time with her parents, she was returning back to Chennai. Now, while on her way to the airport, right, she was enjoying the nature till then, right? While returning to her, while on her way to the airport, she was looking out of the car and she was enjoying nature, and she was admiring nature. But all of a sudden, she looks at the other side of the car, and she looks at her mother. She looks at her mother, who was sleeping with her mouth open, right? Her face was wrinkled, and her face looked like that of an that dullness on her face, right? That wrinkles on her face all of a sudden makes her realize that her mother has grown old, right? She gives a look at her mother, she observes her mother, she observes her face, and all of a sudden she realizes that her mother has grown old. Now, when that thought comes to her mind, right, she is engulfed by that childhood fear, that she might, that childhood fear. And what was that childhood fear? That she will lose her mother, right? Now, when that thought comes to her mind, that her mother has grown old, when she observes her mother, when she observes her face, how dull it has become, how wrinkled her face is, right? She realizes that her mother has grown old. And when she realizes the fact that she has grown old, she's engulfed by that childhood fear which we all have. Every child has a fear of losing her or his mother. So even Kamla Das is engulfed by that childhood fear. Now, to divert her mind, right, she again looks out of the window, right? She again tries to divert her mind. She again tries to, look at things which are the symbol of life, which are the symbol of happiness, right? And she tries to divert her mind. She doesn't want her mind to keep on thinking about this fact that her mother has grown old and she could lose her mother, right? She doesn't want it to have this thought in her mind. And that is why, to divert her mind, she again looks out of the window and tries to engage her mind in things which are the symbol of life, which are the symbol of youthfulness, right? Now, firstly, when the poet is on her way to the Cochin airport with her old mother sitting beside her, she looks at her closely and present before us her image. She compares her with the corpse. Why? Because because the dullness on her face was lifeless, right? Her face resembles, her face was lifeless. The dullness on her face reflected, the dullness on her face somewhere reflected that lifeless feeling in her. So she compared her with a corpse. As she looks at her mother's pale and pallid face, she is struck with the horror and pain of losing her. The mother with the dozing face and open mouth is compared to a corpse. Here, the poet shows the typical love and affection which is present in a mother daughter relation. The poet is pained and shifts her attention outside the car in order to drive out the negative feelings. She changes her sad mood. The scene outside the window is of growing life and energy. The rapidly sprinting trees alongside, the merrily playing children symbolize life, youth, and vitality. The poet here is reminded of her own childhood, when her mother had been young, whereas now she is encircled with the fear of losing her, and that has made her insecure. And why she is compared to a corpse? Because her face resembles life. No, there is no life on her face. Life means there is no youthfulness on her face. Now her face looks lifeless, without any expression. That is why her face is being compared to a corpse here. She is at the airport to take a flight. It indicates departure and separation, which creates melancholy. As she bids goodbye to her mother, the image of the old, wan, worn out mother, wan means pale. So image of old, pale, worn out mother in the twilight of years strikes her again. Here again, a simile is used to compare her mother with the late winter's moon. How is a late winter's moon? Dull, pale, without any shine. So she's compared with a late winter's moon whose light is obstacled by fog and mist. As she looks old now, her personality is affected by it. The poet is feeling the pain of separation, leaving her mother and going. Also, her childhood fear of losing her mother, where she feels that earlier was temporary, but now could be forever, as she could die of old age, is haunting her. She is so pained that it is natural for her to cry, but keeping a brave front, she hides her tears and smiles. She bids farewell to her mother and keeping her hope of seeing her again alive, says, "See you soon, Amma." She hides her sorrow as she does not want to create a painful environment for her mother and conveys her that she is enjoying her life. Similarly, her mother should also be happy and enjoy her life. Now, the poem revolves around the theme of advancing age and fear that adheres to its loss and separation. It is a sentimental account of the mother's approaching end through the eyes of the daughter. The seemingly short poem touches upon the theme of the filial bond between the mother and daughter, smeared in the backdrop of nostalgia and fear. Nostalgia of the past, the time spent with the mother, and fear of the future without her. It is a short poem without a full stop. The poem is like a long sentence overflowing thought process. The poet uses the device of comparison, contrast, simile, and repetition. Fine. Now, class, what you will do is you will go through this poem once, then you will go through the explanation. Once you go through the explanation, you will write down the literary devices which have been used in this poem with examples, though I have mentioned some in the previous slide. and also you will draw the theme of the poem. At the end of the every chapter, right, you will draw the theme of the poem as well. Fine. Thank you.